What if the stories that give your life meaning are also the stories that keep you from seeing reality? Every day, people make decisions based on stories rather than evidence. Investors buy stocks because they hear a compelling narrative about a visionary founder. Voters support politicians because they connect with a personal story. Consumers purchase products because a brand tells a story that resonates emotionally. The facts may matter, but the story usually matters more. This creates a dangerous problem. The better a story sounds, the less likely we are to question it. We assume coherence equals truth, but reality is often incoherent. Real life contains contradictions, accidents, uncertainty, and randomness. Stories remove these uncomfortable elements. They replace complexity with simplicity. They replace uncertainty with certainty, and that is exactly why they are so persuasive. Consider how people talk about successful entrepreneurs. Once a company becomes worth billions, everyone begins searching for the secret behind the success. Articles appear everywhere explaining the founder's habits, what time they wake up, what they eat for breakfast, what books they read, how many hours they work each day. Suddenly, a story emerges. It sounds logical and complete. Success seems fully explained. Yet thousands of failed entrepreneurs had similar habits. Their stories simply never became famous. Story bias focuses on survivors and ignores everyone else. Social media makes this problem even worse. Every day we see carefully edited stories about people's lives. We see successful careers. We see happy relationships. We see expensive vacations and exciting adventures. What we don't see are the arguments, failures, anxiety, and uncertainty hidden behind the scenes. We compare our messy reality to someone else's polished story. Unsurprisingly, we often feel inadequate. The human brain evolved to learn through stories. Thousands of years ago, stories helped our ancestors pass knowledge from one generation to the next. Stories were easier to remember than raw facts. They helped groups survive. But in the modern world, this strength can become a weakness. We are surrounded by more information than any generation in history. Yet our brains still crave simple narratives. This leaves us vulnerable to manipulation. The most convincing person is not always the most truthful person. Often, they are simply the best storyteller. This is why critical thinking matters so much. Whenever you hear a story that feels perfectly complete, pause. Ask yourself what information might be missing. Ask yourself which details were removed to make the story cleaner. Ask yourself whether reality might be more complicated than the narrative suggests. Because reality rarely comes with a narrator. Reality doesn't follow a script. Reality is often chaotic, confusing, and unpredictable. Stories help us navigate that chaos. But if we're not careful, they can also blind us to the truth. And sometimes the story that feels most meaningful is simply the story we most wanted to believe.